What's up, guys? Welcome to the For the Love of God podcast featuring Charlie Jones
and Kimiesha Jones.
And let's get into it, y'all. It looks different. It feels different, and we are thankful to God for this evolution. Paint, panels, art. We ready.
We are.
And we hope y'all ready too. Let's get into it.
All right. So, let's see. What's new? Okay, so I recently let go of my job as a praise and worship leader. I've been a praise and worship leader consistently at different churches, obviously, for 10 plus years. And this was something that I was praying about. I was like, God, what do you want me to do? What's next? And God was just like, it's time to let it go. It's time to, put that down for now. Doesn't mean that God doesn't want me to do praise and worship ever again or anything like that, but it was a consistent job for a while. And it got to a point where it was a little draining at sometimes because it took a lot of the time that I had, and I had to take care of my special needs child, and I have a career that I'm trying to get off the ground and all of these different things. So I prayed about it. God said, okay, it's time to go. And here we are. This is my first time not being like a consistent praise and worship leader somewhere.
How does it make you feel?
I feel, at first I was a little like sad and like, I don't know about this. This feels weird because it's what I've done basically my whole life. But I'm a little relieved, for people who don't understand, like, leading praise and worship or being a church musician and stuff like that, it's a lot mentally to take on. Whether you're learning music, whether you're picking the music, you have to be in prayer consistently about what you're going up to do. This, you're leading people into praise and worship. This is a very serious matter. This is not just, oh yeah, we're just gonna pick 3 songs and go ahead and sing real quick. You're teaching parts. You're teaching people dynamics on how to use their voice and, making sure that everybody's good. And if we're doing more rehearsals, we got to get there earlier. We got to get there earlier than everybody else. It's a lot that goes into it. And at this point in my life, it was becoming a little bit too much.
It's something to be said about, following that still small voice of God for direction in life. And, with him telling you, hey, pack it up, let's roll. Mm-hmm. It's one of those things where there's no time, nor is there a reason to even wonder or ask, well, why or where or how am I getting there or what's next? It's just a matter of yes and go.
If you're asking God why, then you don't really trust him. Like, well, what's going on? What's going to be there when I get there? Am I going to get there?
How the bills get paid?
How are the bills getting paid? Where am I going to sing at? Or that's not your concern. God just wants your yes. God just wants your obedience. Obedience is better than sacrifice. And that kept replaying in my head when I was making this decision. And then I consistently prayed about it, and God specifically told me, it's time to go. I will provide. He said those words to me as clear as I'm talking to you right now. And
you sound like Morgan Freeman. It's time to go.
Kind of. That's how God sounds. God sounds like Morgan Freeman to me sometimes. Sometimes. But, sometimes it's an audible voice. Sometimes it's in confirmation of like something that you thought about, something that God put in your spirit, and then it happens and you didn't tell anybody. That kind of thing. So, but this was an audible situation. God was like, it's time to go. I will provide. And I was like, okay. I didn't know what was next or what was going to happen or anything like that. But I was like, okay, God, I trust you. I'm going to go. This is difficult. The church that I came from, I absolutely adore them to this day. It was a very hard decision. It wasn't nobody's fault or anything like that. It was really hard for me to leave because I love them so much. But I had to be obedient to the word of God in my life. So, yeah.
Amen.
Yeah.
On the Western front, a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Been writing a lot of scripts. Just finished my my first feature film script. It's about almost 80 pages, and it's something that's really important to me. It's something that's really important to me. It's based on, or it's titled after your new song that just came out.
Yes, and the podcast.
And the podcast, For the Love of God.
For the love of God.
And really excited to get that one out to y'all. It's a drama. There's a lot of comedic relief. It gets fun and it gets telling, and it's about the love of God and how it can really transform your life and what you expected it to be and what it actually will be towards the end. It's a redemption story, and it's something that I will be casting for very soon and also crewing up for very soon. So if you want to be behind the camera or in front of the camera, keep an eye out, keep an ear out, because that post is coming.
There will be, they'll be on his social medias, which are linked in the description. So make sure you go follow him so you don't miss anything. And also make sure you turn on that notification bell on both of our channels because they're both linked. So yeah.
Oh yeah.
Going into film though, I want to ask you what you think about Tyler Perry's new movie Straw.
Tyler Perry's new movie Straw. What do I think about it? It was a heavy watch. You know, let me start with the positives.
Okay.
Taraji,
Excellent.
great job acting.
Excellent.
Believed every minute of it.
Yes.
Now, moving on to my other thoughts.
Oh no!
Straw was the kind of film that was like watching a boxing match where the other team needs to throw the towel in like soon. Much sooner than later. She was getting beat, y'all. Like, life was lifing the freaking bejesus out of her. And it was so tough because it was one of those films for me where my heart was just tight the whole time. There was no relief. There was no, oh, thank God she made it. It was none of that.
Yeah.
And I'm sure by now everyone's seen it, so I'm not like worried about spoilers.
We don't care about spoilers here.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
But, and in the end, when her daughter was actually dead the whole time, as a parent, that hit me because I'm like, dang, man, I'm not trying to see, I don't like seeing stuff about dead kids.
I don't see, like the twist was interesting because, you know,
I didn't see it coming.
I didn't see it coming, and that's one of the positives. I didn't see it coming, but if it's that kind of movie, I want to know because I opt out of those kind of movies because I'm a parent.
Yeah, I definitely prefer to not watch stuff like that. I like my dreams peaceful and of
Yeah.
God. I don't like them nightmare induced.
No.
And that type of anxiety, I don't sign up for willingly. I call that black trauma porn.
Yes.
And there's films where it's that traumatic, and it's because that's just what the story is. Like 12 Years a Slave, for example. It's really that bad because it really was that bad.
Yeah.
And honestly, that was even PG compared to what reality really was. But with that being said, I'm not signing up to watch that twice.
No.
I don't want to.
It's certain movies I will only watch once.
Yeah, I thought Straw was going to be something else. I thought it was going to be a bank heist film. I thought it was going to be like Taraji overcoming the odds. And in the end, she get arrested, daughter dead. She didn't even get that $512.
You know what's crazy? It was $521, I think. But
she didn't get the money.
My issue was before she said, first of all, here, I'm going to give my positives first too. Yay, the wigs were good. Yay, Tyler Perry went and got some good wigs this
Hair and
time.
makeup was on point.
Like, praise God. He be listening. He got his ears to the streets, y'all. Like, we make a difference when we go on freaking social media and be like, Tyler, the wigs. But, yeah. Yay. But that scene before she walked out to go to jail where she just got shot. Why? Why did we need to see her freaking get shot 50 times and then for them to switch and like none of that happened and she walked out peacefully with Sherry Shepherd?
I believe that technique is called a red herring, where you're taking the audience on what they think is actually happening and then it's flipped at the end.
We was already at the end of the movie. We didn't need that. Like, I could see that in the middle, like how like the red herring was one of those, like I saw this.
Shoot, the red herring was the daughter being alive.
Yeah, that was the red herring. And they kept kind of using misdirection. If you watch it back, I saw somebody kind of play it back, and they had it where the girl was like kind of beside Taraji, so that she like disappeared in some shots. Like she wasn't like they kind of.
Almost like it was an illusion.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I'd probably watch those scenes back then to see that.
Just the beginning, honestly. And then when they had noodles on the table, one was eaten and one wasn't. Like she made her food because she was kind of like hallucinating. So
watching it like a second and third time, you probably pick up on all the little things.
But it's so
that he peppered throughout the film.
It's so daggone traumatic. I can't put it on. I will go on social media all day and be like, okay, what did I miss in Straw? Thank God we can do that now because certain movies I just can't. Like it's just too much.
Yeah.
So,
as a writer, as a director, I think Tyler definitely told a very good story technically. Like it was a lot of illusion, it was a lot of misdirection, it was a lot of like surprise and stuff like that. The drama was definitely on point. But for the content of it, one and done. I'm not doing it again. I can't.
Yeah.
And like just to kick the dead horse one more time, what was the point? She went to jail. So we think like she was arrested. I mean, we saw what happened to Sandra Bland. Like she was the one that ain't she the one that got in the no that was there's been so many y'all.
Yeah, unfortunately.
The one that got arrested and he died in the back of the truck. Like we don't know if she made it to jail.
We don't know if she made it to jail. I think that certain things were a little bit unnecessary because she was already having a bad day. The cop hitting her car was crazy. Especially like, and it's not like far-fetched. Like there's bad cops out there.
I think that was pretty far-fetched.
You think so?
I think that was the most far-fetched thing in the whole film because who is going out of their way to pit maneuver somebody in a civilian car? Your own civilian car.
He was off duty too. Like
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That wasn't a department car. You weren't on department time. That qualified immunity does not apply to you. You just assaulted somebody with your vehicle. That's a felony. You can't do that. And then the female cop coming to like, oh, let me just try to sweep this under the rug real quick. She sucks.
Yeah.
Terrible person. Terrible police officer.
I truly think that like this could have been done a little bit softer. Like, and everybody, it hit with the single moms. I will say that. Everybody was just like, oh, she was a single mom trying to do good for her daughter and all this stuff.
That was definitely the target audience.
Yeah, 100%. But at the same time, like, and I could see that. Like, people have had bad days. But I just feel like this was the worst day in history. Like, there was no kind of, like, she didn't have nobody, like, no kind of, the only comic relief was Sinbad when she was coming out and she was like, I ain't got no money. And he was like, I still want something. Like, I'm leaving here with something.
I didn't chuckle at that. I didn't think it was funny or comic relief. I thought it was just another person in a freaking broke down, busted position.
That's true.
And let's talk about that too. That's Sinbad.
I had to find the funny because I was just like, okay.
I'm not lying. I did not laugh the entire time. I was like tense.
Yeah, he didn't say a word. It was, and usually we can find the funny and stuff. Like sometimes when we need comic relief because it's so heavy, but this was just heavy. So I rate this movie. I would give it a 5.2 out of 10. Simply because it was really long in certain spots. It kind of dragged a little bit towards the end. And it was heavy. The wigs were good. I think everybody who was acting did an awesome job. I think Tiana Taylor did an awesome job. Taraji did an awesome job. Sherry Shepherd did an awesome job. But
I don't think they did a good job. No.
I think they did a good job. Oh my gosh. This is news to me, y'all. Good Lord.
So, Tiana Taylor.
Okay.
Her character in this, I felt like was so out of pocket. It didn't make sense for a seasoned detective to just blatantly go against district policy. It didn't make sense for their chief to just let these subordinates basically run wild with the case.
Oh, and I'll do you one better. When the FBI did step in,
yeah,
she just took up like no.
Because I'm a strong, independent black woman. I can do this by myself.
Jail.
No, you not beating the feds. You're not out muscling the feds. You
You're
don't
going to
outrank
jail.
the feds.
Yeah.
You're being held in contempt or whatever type of freaking punitive action they can throw at
They
you.
gonna suspend you at least.
Yeah.
Like,
Interference or something. But
Yeah.
you're fired? Unpaid leave? Like, I thought that was so crazy.
and then how you gonna hold the feds off? They was like, no, just hang on. I'm gonna get her out.
Yeah. I thought this whole film was just crazy, y'all. Like, I give it a 2 out of 10 for sure. 1 star I give to every film because it's difficult to make a film, and the fact that it was completed, hey, kudos. It's hard, y'all. It's not easy. And the second star was for Taraji because she can really do no wrong and stuff like this.
She did great.
She's really good at channeling that that hurt and that pain.
Yeah.
And her Breakfast Club interview where she was talking about how she had to really put herself back in those spaces that she had just gotten out of just to get back into character for this film.
Yeah.
I thought that was very courageous and brave of her because asking somebody to step back into their trauma to portray a character, that's a tough ask.
That's a lot.
But it shows your professionalism and dedication to the craft by being able and willing to do that.
She said that she spoke with Tyler about, because certain movies he's brought to her, hey, I want you to be in this. And she's like, no, but this was a challenge for her, and that's why she took it on.
Yeah, but 2 out of 10.
Yeah.
Outside of that, everybody else, the bank teller, getting on Tessa.
Yeah, she's getting on my nerves.
Tyler Perry is single-handedly making sure that character, the woman that played Tessa, will never be looked at as positive in the black community again.
But he's done that with...
He's very good at doing that.
He's done that with Blair Underwood. The dude...
Charles.
Charles. I don't know his name, but Charles.
Y'all know Charles.
Yeah. Charles.
Yeah. Mr. Drowned in the Hot Tub.
Yeah. What else? Who else?
Basically, any dark-skinned brother in a Medea film. Outside of Mr. Brown. Because even Medea's brother, what's his name?
Joe.
Joe. Even he low-key a bad guy.
He's a freaking pedophile.
He a pervert, he a pedophile, he a drug addict. he all kind of, and he dark-skinned. I don't know what it is. He must look like his father.
Maybe.
He must got a thing about his dad.
Maybe. Because people don't understand that kind of stuff definitely plays a part in how you create, But anyway.
Yeah, we'll leave it at that.
Moving on. Y'all get A for effort for doing that. Good job. Anyway.
Y'all, that's been our thoughts. That's been For the Love of God with Charlie Jones.
And Kimiesha Jones.
And thank you for tuning in, y'all. Go ahead and like, share, subscribe, drop a comment down below if we said something that sounded absolutely off the walls, crazy, and you want to argue with us. We got time. And also, if you just want to support, that's fine. That's fine too. Socials are down below. Go ahead and follow and stay tuned for more, y'all.
Alrighty. Peace.
Bye.